In this video, I'm going to kill my main opposition point of view, which is I'm not from this country or that country, so I couldn't know what is going on. That is like saying, oh, that's like a janitor telling a CIA agent in Afghanistan that you don't know what's going on in my country. Don't you talk to me about the politics of my country when the CIA are manipulating the politics. Okay? My understanding is far greater than theirs, and most of those kind of ignorant, oh, your videos are bullshit, from some redneck hick cracker from South Carolina or Texas, for instance, like in the video that I took off about psychology, but we'll get into that later. Attributed to my people after this video series, you have the symbols of Buddhism, okay? And, well, you have the Siddhartha Gautama, okay, or however you say it. I'm not a Buddhist myself, but I understand what they're trying to say and all this stuff, okay? This is like the 4th century BC, and it's passed down from the Indians, and there's 2 branches of it. You had the Theravada, and you had the Mahayana, alright? And even double checking through my notes so no one was going to whine about it, you have Zen Buddhism, Nichiren Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, Xinjiang Buddhism, Tiantai Buddhism, Shino-en Buddhism, and etc., etc. And it's in Mongolia, Russia, China, all over the world. Yeah. Okay. Now, the major symbols of Buddhism. Now, I don't need no notes anymore because this is all top of the head. Is, of course, you have the trees, the lotus, the different color, red lotus, white lotus, blue lotus. You have this symbol is going to be mistaken for a lot of other symbols. Okay, there's candles, there's insects, there's lamps, there's the prayer position, etc. Right, and remember there was the mountains. So just like you had the Timon's mountains in Esau, you had the Buddhist mountains. And you had Europeans, and they influenced some of the thought there, even in Tibet, and on the Mount Kailash. So anyway, of course you had the 4 guardian kings, the protectors, and cardinal directions, etc., etc. And obviously, just like in Masonry, you have the king in the east and the west, and on and on. So, of course, you also have the pyramids. The mountain is in the shape of a pyramid. And they noticed that well because they know they stole the knowledge from Egypt and they're imitating it. I would compare it to the poor Nubians who later on started attempting to build pyramids later in Sudan. And they weren't quite as in touch as their ancestors because the white man had dumbed them down in many wars and stealing their knowledge, and etc., etc. Now, when I was talking about the white lotus and the red lotus and the blue lotus and the pink lotus, right? You have to understand, like, the pink lotus is for the great Buddha. They all have symbols, and it comes back to ancient Egypt, alright? The perfect nature of the white lotus. The purity and the original nature of the red lotus. Love, compassion, blah, blah, blah. Obvious European ideology mixed with ancient Egypt. Anyway, the blue lotus is the victory of spirit over the senses and wisdom and knowledge. Remember, you have blue as the symbol of faithfulness in Christianity. Excuse me. Then you have the pink lotus. I already covered that, how this is a symbol of Buddhism. And what else did I want to cover? I wanted to cover the conch, which is a symbol of the horn, and most of these principles are very, simple. The horn of welfare, etc. The geometry, the sacred geometry they use, the victory banner, the Dharma wheel. It's like that's the word I was looking for. Is the Rotary Club. Just like even they used to adopt the symbol, and it goes back to Freemasonry and the white man stealing it from Egypt and other cults stealing it as well. So of course you have the swastika. Did I put? I didn't put that on this one. How much time do I have left? All right. So basically, Hinduism came before Buddhism. Buddhism started in India. And it's spread out, just like I said, and all these racist Chinese who are in denial, like, oh, no, we did this and that. They didn't do very much. Spiritualism and spirituality comes from Africans. And as that comes to light more, the atheist movement of the white power structure will pick up more. Because first they went with the role of, we'll dumb them down and make them think that it came from us. And then, now that they know it came from black people, we'll pretend it isn't true because we do not want to empower the black man. Speaking of empowering people, they demonize Mexicans by making the #1 drug lord in the world, Chapo Guzman, have his actress stick up to him so it gains more fame. They know that's going to be a story that's going to spread out, and people are going to pick up on that story. So they're using the media, they're using the CIA, they're using puppets to demonize some Uncle Toms. And do not get it mistaken, Chapo Guzman is not a good man. Anytime Chapo Guzman wants to go toe-to-toe, we can do it. Anytime Chapo Guzman wants to take 10 fucking paces, we can do it. Because Chapo Guzman is a scumbag. He is an Illuminati stooge. Okay? He's an Illuminati stooge that controls a lot of gangsters, and a lot of Mexicans who think that he's calling the shots have sworn their loyalty to him. And that's why he's able to get away. Just like bin Laden. They're waiting for the right time and the right place to bring him down. And it's just, it goes back to politics. You know, I compare it to Iran-Contra. I compare it to the Gulf of Tonkin and how they timed it out. I compare it to presidents even saying nothing in politics is done on accident. Everything happens for a reason. You know, the military-industrial complex. Who's this guy? He's a prisoner. He has known snitches, known moles and informants and agents of the government in his organization. His son, his former bodyguards. And who do they take down? They take down the small guys, because they don't want to offend the bloodline of the hierarchy and get assassinated or lose their job. It's that mixed with the scum who are heading the investigations in the first place, and the policies they are enforcing, and they're replacing agents accordingly. Any cop that won't go with their scheme gets replaced. That's why I say don't blame the good cops. They're getting fired as it is. Blame the scum. And so you have the Federation and the Sinaloa cartel. Okay, that's another name for it. And what you have is, just like you have the trade routes in through the Middle East and how they form a cross in Jerusalem, you have the Mexican border, comparing it to the Canadian border. They have a problem with the Canadian border as well, but it's not as serious. It has to do with destabilizing regions and creating a desired effect. So the desired effect of cooking the books and demonizing minorities using teachers and statistics and think tanks and police agencies, judges, politicians, on and on, Republicans and Democrat moles. And when I say the demonic party, it's not necessarily because all the Democrats are bad. It's because the demons slip in their party. The demons are attracted to the people who appear to be the most righteous, so they can use their light as cover for their demonic deeds. As you saw in Star Wars, where the Emperor was hanging out with the Jedis, and he was using the light side of the Force to cover the dark. How that works is quite interesting. It has to do with the relationship between light and dark and the polarities, and that has to do with the catechist symbol of thought as well, where you have the two snakes wrapping around the pole. Okay, and this has deeper meanings for many reasons. It's the relationship of Jachin and Boaz. Now, I'm not going to go into that in this video because I only have about 1 minute left. So I'm going to explore more the drug game and how there's an Illuminati structure and how there's good people who overcome it, and the Illuminati use them as examples. There's a reason why I say college is not the place, is one of the holy places too. It's not necessarily because there's good people teaching at college. It's not necessarily because that is conducive to the black man's growth, which it is to a certain extent. It's more because there's a time and a place for everything. There has to be impeccable manners and careful perception as you are sailing through life. And you have to place your ship in a place where the breeze that carries you is taking you to a place you want to go. And the port that is school is not necessarily a middle ground for God. It's not necessarily the lampstand. It is more the table on which the lampstand is resting.